Well, it's the Boker Magnum LE. LE stands for law enforcement. Probably not used by law enforcement, but it's got a little law enforcement emblem on it. It's a liner lock. It's a little bit unique, or it is actually very unique in one way. When you close a knife, you can see on the back, this pops out. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't think that's just a gimmick, because what I really noticed when I put it in my pocket for a large knife, it feels slimmer because that last 1.25 inches is covered up by a very thin covering or sheath or whatever you want to call it, and yet the handle is still substantial. It's got a good place to grip and it's the right size. Also could say it opens up fairly quick. I did have to modify it a little bit out of the box. I've actually pulled it apart because the liner lock wasn't engaging. It was too tight in here, so now it's loose, maybe just a hair too loose, but so what. I did grind it down a little bit with the Dremel. I took out the torque screw here. There's 2 nylon washers on each side, so 4 nylon washers, okay? There's a pin that holds in this little sliding mechanism here, and there's a pin right up in here on the top, and it's very simple actually to take apart if you actually need it to. The grips on it, I think, are aluminum. Somebody said they were aluminum, but I'm kind of doubting. I wonder if they're plastic or aluminum, but they seem fairly strong. Another thing I could say about it, though, it's weatherproof. It's 440A stainless steel. I thought it was C, but it's A. I bought it because it was C. I thought it was C, but it's 440A. So just use my everyday pull-through sharpener from Smith's on it. Good enough for this. It is fairly sharp. Yeah, it is sharp. It'll cut no problem. The holes on here in the blood groove, I think, are just more of a decoration. You know, whatever they're for. One thing I kind of wish it had was a serrated edge down in here, not the whole thing, because I always use that for a wire cutter. But what I do like about this, the blade on it is significantly longer. Now, just to compare it, here's a standard little Barlow pocket knife, right? And there's this. So if you put the blades right next to each other, that's a standard Barlow pocket knife. When you look at specifications, you say, I don't know, it depends on who you are, I guess. You look at a 5-inch to 4-inch. 5-inch blade is a fairly good sized blade. 5.25 is on a baby K-bar. 7 inches on a full size K-bar. Now, if you put a kitchen knife next to it, you can see. That's an ordinary steak knife, and that's, one thing I was thinking about is actually this thing would be a damn cool freaking kitchen utensil for camping, because it is about the right size for a steak knife. It's not overly big where you're pulling out like a Bowie or something, or a K-bar, full-size K-bar, and it's not, you can still use something like this, but then you can get crap in there and stuff. This thing, it's all open. You can really, you can hose it out or something, spray WD-40. Carb cleaner on it or something, and it's real clean again. That's one good thing about this, because you don't have, like on this, it's all filled in down there. I mean, you can still clean it fairly easily, but this thing, you can wash it off with a hose, man. The only thing on it, I guess it could rust, is this spring liner lock, but spray a little WD-40 on it if you're cleaning it. That's what's cool about this. You can actually put it in the dirt. And now that I got this liner lock a little bit loose like that, actually it really gauges hard, so it's, sometimes you can't trust them if they only go in there just a hair like that. You're not really gauging. This thing all the way in there. So I'm glad I did that little modification. But I do think it's a pretty damn good knife overall for $16. Well, I got it for $16.99 at Bud K, right? So he's good for those. He's got various prices on different things. I know some people think one thing about him and what other things, but it's got good stuff and bad stuff. We're going to probably have a lot more knife reviews, not just on Bud K, but other things. Italian stiletto and all that garbage, and Bowie from a CSA Bowie, in the future here pretty soon. Kind of getting on a knife kick. But I do think, though, I notice when you put this in your pocket, the fact that it's not real thick all the way down like that, all the way down to here, and usually this would be a little thicker on the end, sometimes with a bolster, it does feel fairly slim in your pocket. And the tip is well covered because it's like a curvature coming up like that. The other thing is, what the hell was I going to say on something else on this? Oh, yeah, if you're going to attach this to your body, like, you know, how the hell are you going to hang this on your body? Doesn't have a clip, right? And that was one thing some people said about it. But first off, I was thinking, could you put a halyard through here? But then if you do that, would it go in there? No, it wouldn't. What you could do is probably, you know, if I needed to put something on here, like a clip or something, you know, first I'd have the blade open and I'd watch where the blade is. I'd drill a hole right through here to here and put like a horseshoe thing in here, stainless steel horseshoe thing, or something like that, you know, a ring, a heavy duty ring, or even you know what you can do, actually, your large key ring, you know, those key rings, the large key rings, maybe you can thread it through there. You put a hole on this side and a hole on this side, then you got some place you can hang this with a lanyard. You know, I mean, a lot of people bitch and moan about little minor shit like you can't modify for a penny, you know. But that's what I would do. I would take, you know, because, let me see, I don't want to tell you to do that, because if you screw it up, then you'll say I told you to do this, but that's what I would do, okay. But just to double check, yeah, you'd have to put it in front of that right here, so it'd be right about there. Let's see when this is closed, see if you could do that. Yeah, you could do it right up in this area. You could do it, a little hole right through there, put it like a ring, like a big keychain ring, so you can have that on there, so you can always hang it on something, and that would be very secure. It wouldn't go anywhere, right? And it'd be hanging like, not in an open position, but it'd be hanging like that right there. As a matter of fact, I might do that. So anyway, it's cool because the proportions on it are correct. Like, in other words, you look at a normal pocket knife and it's just smaller, but you know, like, you got a large handle comparison to the blade. This one looks like a standard sheath knife when it's opened up, proportion wise. And again, it would really work as a good kitchen knife too, to tell you the truth. Just a hair longer, it's a beefier blade. The handle's just a little longer. And actually, I think overall it is a good idea. I don't really consider this a gimmick, because sometimes I'm like wondering, you know, uses new technology. But you know, when I think about this, when you put this in your pocket, just having just this much to cover the end of the blade, that's definitely, I notice when I put it in my pocket, this doesn't feel like a very big knife. It feels like you're only really noticing this part, but you got that much more blade. So, and I just might put that ring on there. So, and it does open quick. I think with some skills you can really like flip it open, a little oil. You can do, I don't know, you can flip it open really quick or something, like a switchblade. We're gonna have some of those spring assistant and a true Italian one coming up here pretty soon. So anyway, I think it's pretty damn good, to tell you the truth. I kind of like the idea now. I really think the only drawback to it is the fact that you can't attach it on a lanyard or something. It's got no, and I don't really care about the belt clip, but the lanyard part is pretty good. You want that. And I think you could set something up right in here, which I probably will do, with just a large keychain ring to go through there, which has to be in the exact right position, because it has to be in front of that. All right, it has to be in like so, right, maybe about right in here someplace. And when this is closed, yeah, that'll work. That won't hit nothing. See, I think like a mechanic. And I think knives are freaking great for people that do electrical work, plumbing work, mechanic work, especially mechanic work. It's not like, God, as a, you know, somebody, if you're working on cars, man, I'll tell you what, you freaking use a knife a lot, tell you the truth. I do quite a bit for cleaning stuff off and stuff. This bad boy fit in your pocket really good. So anyway, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. Pretty happy with it, to tell you the truth. And if you want to use it camping for a steak knife, it's a nice steak knife. It's not too big, not too small, perfect size.